It's February 9, 1944, off the coast of southern France. American fighter pilot Bob Hoover is on his 59th mission, diving his Spitfire towards a target. Suddenly, his engine fails. Then, he spots them for German Focke-Wulf 190 fighters diving straight for him. What happened next would begin one of the most unbelievable escape stories of World War II, a story that would see Hoover imprisoned, stage a daring breakout, and commit an act of sheer audacity, stealing an enemy warplane and flying it to freedom. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tracing the incredible true story of Robert Bob Hoover, a man who was not just a legendary test pilot and airshow icon, but the author of one of the war's greatest escape missions. After a frantic dogfight, Hoover's damaged Spitfire was struck by enemy fire. He bailed out over the Mediterranean, was captured, and began a grueling journey to a prisoner of war camp. His new home was Stalag Luft I, near Bart, Germany. By early 1945, this camp held nearly 9,000 Allied airmen. Conditions were tough. As the Soviet Red Army advanced from the east, the sound of distant artillery became the soundtrack to their days. The German guards grew nervous, and the camp's senior Allied officer even refused a German order to evacuate the prisoners. But Bob Hoover wasn't content to wait for liberation. Despite orders from Supreme Command to stay put, he and a few others hatched a plan. In late April 1945, with the front line drawing nearer, Hoover and two fellow prisoners, including a pilot named Jerome Ennis, saw their chance. They created a distraction, a staged fight among prisoners, and, in the confusion, used a wooden plank to cross the barbed wire fence. They were free, but deep inside a crumbling Nazi Germany. Aided by a sympathetic Frenchwoman who gave them food and even a handgun, they stole bicycles and headed west. Their journey led them to a seemingly abandoned German airfield. It was a repair depot, littered with damaged aircraft. Hoover, the pilot, searched the lines. Most planes were wrecks. Then, he found it, a Focke-Wulf Fw-190 fighter. It was battered but looked flyable. And crucially, its fuel tanks were full. As they inspected it, a German mechanic surprised them. Hoover's companion held the man at gunpoint, while Hoover prepared the plane. His friend, however, decided not to risk the flight. As Hoover later recalled, his friend said, "I never want to fly again." Hoover would go alone. Think about this. Hoover was about to take off in a damaged, single-seat enemy plane he'd never flown before. He had no parachute, no maps to friendly territory, and was flying towards the most active front line in the world. Any Allied anti-aircraft gun or fighter pilot would see a perfect target. He took off straight from a grass field. His plan was simple: fly west using a basic compass and look for the iconic windmills of Holland, which would signal Allied-held territory. For tense hours, he flew on a wing and a prayer, terrified of being shot down by his own side. Miraculously, he made it. Spotting the windmills, he brought the damaged fighter down in a Dutch field. But his adventure wasn't over. Local farmers, thinking he was a German pilot, surrounded him with pitchforks. Before the situation could escalate, a British Army truck arrived. Hoover explained his impossible story, and finally, his war was over. Hoover's war service earned him the Distinguished Flying Cross. But his flying career was just beginning.